Now with IP cameras, I know we always intend to waterproof the connection ends to the best of our ability, maybe, hide them in soffits, put them in electrical boxes, but sometimes you just can't or you don't, and you use something like electrical tape. Now the problem is that it might work for a while, but eventually water could get in there, right? Because if there's any seam that is open, water will always find its way to it. And that's what happened to my RLC 810A 4K camera. I'm going to show you today though, how we can salvage this and be able to still use it going forward. The tools that you'll need in order to do this is just like a knife or a razor or something. We've got to cut back some of the coating that's from the original wire. You'll need some Ethernet ends. Now you'll notice that I am using the male end. If you can find some female ends, those will work too. The pin setup will be the same as what I'm about to show you. And of course some Cat 6 Ethernet crimpers. You can find these crimpers on Amazon with connectors for under 20 bucks. Okay, now the first step of what we're going to do, we're going to basically just sever the original connection as close to the head as possible. As you see, there's not a whole lot of wire to work with, so we want to salvage as much as possible. And we'll just take our blade or our knife, and we'll just need to peel back some of this coating. So just go ahead, we'll cut through a little bit here. There we go. And then once we get a little bit there, we can always pull back whatever additional that we'll need. But we'll need to get access to these wires. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now like I said, now just pull out a little bit more wire that we have that we'll need. And then of course we can cut off any excess here. There we go. It's probably better to use a razor blade or some pliers or something, but I was able to do it just fine. Okay, so now what we want to do next is start arranging our wires, get them all untwisted, as you see here, right? Some of the twisted pairs are done. Now what you'll notice on these wires is that there are a little bit less than a normal Ethernet cord. So we'll have to just arrange the pin setup. I think there are two different ways that we can set this pin setup. Well, how we're gonna do it, looking from, let's say the top, right, from left to right, we're gonna go orange, white, orange, green, white. It looks like it's gray, green, and then purple. All right, so we'll go over that again here shortly. But so what we want to do though is we want to start untwisting these cables from each other so that we can try to get them as close to that setup as possible prior to putting them in. So I'm just going to arrange them all accordingly. Okay, green, gray, gray, solid green, and purple. Now, sometimes what you want to do is just kind of put them all together, and then you can just take off the tops to try to get them a little more, flat and situated so that when you put them in, that they'll go in fine. So now you have to put in. All right, let's go in. What we'll do, we'll just see how we get this in. All right, now they're not, so you'll notice that there's two more slots in the end that are gonna be missing. So what that means is, so if we say from left to right, it starts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? What we'll do is slot 1, 2, and 3, we will have with the orange, white, orange, green, white. And then slot 4, we'll put gray. All right, and then in the last slot, we'll do purple all the way to the right. And then the second to last slot, we can put that green in there. So let's see. Now my Ethernet connector does not push through. It's better when you have the ends that you can push through. Okay, so once you have confirmed that those are good to go, just take your Ethernet crimper, go ahead and put it in, put some pressure on that. Go ahead, squeeze and tighten that up. And there we go, just like that. So again, I've got orange, white, pin 1, orange and pin 2, green and white and pin 3, and gray and pin 4. 5 is empty. 6 I have the solid green. 7 I have empty. And then 8 I have purple. So it's always a good thing to just try to test this real quick. If you have a POE switch where you can get power to this, make sure it works before getting it, climbing up on a ladder, plugging it in to see if it's, gonna work or not. Right, by that point, you're kind of high up. You don't want to be troubleshooting on top of a ladder.